If you don't have that written and you have an answer that is different than 23.7, then you get on a test nothing. If you show me that and that is wrong, you will get something, which is why we spent all day Friday practicing that. Number 17. For some reason, number 17 caused both classes significant trouble. I do not understand it. Peeping Tom is in the 13th floor window of his apartment building, 130 feet above the ground. Tom. And he is 130 feet above the ground. He looks across at another building and he sees Sandra at the bottom of the building. Tom looks across here, then he looks down, creating an angle of declination or depression, 40 degrees. If this side is 130, how long is this side that is straight across from Tom? 130. There's your first triangle. You don't actually need to do anything here because you know this distance. But in order to work out how far Elizabeth is away, you need this distance. So the first thing you did was 130 divided by tan 40 to get this distance. That got you x. And then you did x. You did x tan 10 times x to get y. And then what you did with y to find the answer, you did y plus 130. And it ends up being something like 157, which is 157 feet, which is about 16 floors. Now, please be aware there are many skills at play here. 1, recognizing the real-life situation from the word problem. The question tells you how to do it. It told you where Tom was. It told you he looked down. Then it told you he looked up. He had to start his eyes somewhere, just like this drawing that we did here. Right? The answers to every question that you will ever get anywhere in my math class exist in your notes. Somewhere. Why do I give the notes? So you know how to do the questions. How did I get 16? The same way I got this. I read the question. 10 feet per floor. So 157 feet is almost 160 feet, which divides by 10 to get 16 floors. Isosceles triangle. I want the angle of inclination, which I just re-showed you again. It is right there. So theta is x, because I don't know what it is. Hypotenuse is 8. Adjacent is what? 6, because of course you need a 90-degree angle. Then adjacent and hypotenuse, shift cos, because you need an angle of 6/8. And I don't remember what it is, but it is something like 41.4. Same question as above. From the roof of Ye's building. So I need a building, and Ye is on top of it. The angle of elevation to the top of a taller building. It even tells you how to draw it. You draw a taller building. Where's the angle of elevation? Going up. From where? From where ye is looking. Up is 37. Down, angle of depression to the base of the building. It tells you how to do it, is 28. The buildings are 21 meters apart. How tall is the big building? Well, there's that part of the big building, which is X, and there's that part of the big building, which is Y. To find the height of this, I am going to need to add X plus Y, aren't I? X is opposite over adjacent. Since I know the denominator, X is 21 tan 37 plus Y, 28 tan 37. And the answer is something like 230 or no, 23, 27. Great. That's why we practice this. Now, I'll talk about that in a minute when I get to number 3, which is actually number 4. I put them up in a bad order. And people are saying it's around 23. So, okay. I don't know. 21 tan 37 plus 28 tan.
So X is whatever.
Oh, crap. No, I screwed that up. 21 tan 37, 21 tan 28. There we go.
Yeah, I was like,
37 plus 21 tan 28. And it's 27. So I remembered the 27.
Where's the right angle?
Same place it always is, on the vertical side. Between the vertical and the horizontal.
Okay.
2 boys standing opposite sides of a mountain. Mountain. Boy 1 over here. Mountain, 1350. Boy 1 on the left, 65. Boy 2 on the right, 50. How far do they have to walk? So boy 1 has to walk there. Boy 2 has to walk there. Boy 1 is, what's that? Opposite. 16, not 1650, you idiot. 1350 I'm talking to me.
I know, we know.
Divided by sine 65. This side, 1350 divided by sine 50. And then you get your answers. One of them is like 1,700 and the other one is like 1,400. I can't remember. Okay? 1489 and
Very messy, that's okay.
1762.
And then you just add those?
No, you don't add them. The question says, how far does each one have to height?
Oh, okay.
All right. That is where we are right now. Now, listen to me, please. On page 70 and 71, there are some more questions. I want you to do 4 questions on 70, your choice, and 2 questions on 71. Now, the answers to 9, 10, and 11 here are wrong. Do not look at them. All right? I will provide the right answers to you in a second. I just want to make sure everybody can work on that. It is not a test. You can work with your friends. You can have your notes out. The answers are sitting right there, so it doesn't really matter. There. Oh, one sec. We lost by 1 try. There are the answers to 9, 10, and 11. The other answers are correct. This should take you 10, 15 minutes at the outside. If you are taking longer than 10 or 15 minutes, you are doing one of three things. One, you are wasting your time talking about stuff that is not trig, which pisses me off. Two, you don't know how to do trig, which pisses me off because every day I ask if everybody can do it and everybody says they can and nobody comes in and seeks help. Or three, you just happen to be a slow worker. It is, which doesn't bother me. That is no problem. But since 99% of the time it's option 1 or option 2, I'm going to be frustrated. I will be anything from 71. 13. All right. What do you have there?
Triangle.
A triangle that has 10 and 60. What do you have there? A smaller triangle of which you know nothing except that it is 8. Right?
Yeah, and the angle is half.
You don't know that angle. So, how far away are they from the tower? Well, that's this side right here, isn't it? Blue or orange to figure out the red line? Orange, because that's the one that has 2 pieces of information. Theta is 60, hypotenuse is 10, adjacent is x. Same thing every time. Write your theta, write your knowledge. What is it? Cosine. Cos of 60 is adjacent x over hypotenuse 10. Number on the bottom, same time every time. 10 cos 60. That will get you this. Whatever it is. It's 5. Right? Now you know that's 5. What is the angle of inclination of the shorter guy wire? What's shorter, 8 or 10? 8. So I need this angle, yes? Do I know x?
Yes.
What is it?
5.
5. So now I have 2 sides. I need an angle. Theta, I don't know. Adjacent, 5. Hypotenuse, 8. What uses A and H? Cos. Theta, I don't know theta. A over H, 8. What do I do to find the angle? Shift cos 5/8. Whatever it is. I think it's 51. I wouldn't have gotten that out of my head. 51 point whatever it is. How far apart are the 2 wires here? That is this distance. So if you know this, which you get with Pythagoras, and you know this, which you get with Pythagoras, how do you tell the difference between the 2? Subtraction. Now, I know you all want to tell me that this is... But is it really? If you stop trying to race through it so you can talk with your friends about other stuff first, and you actually draw it, and actually do what I've showed you 1,000 times to do, is it that difficult? Like, honestly, if it is, please tell me, and I will go do some research tonight, and I will spend the next 2 days trying to find a new way to show it to you. I really, really will. Scout's honor. But I don't know what to do because none of you will tell me. This makes perfect sense to me. Perfect sense. We drew it on that first day with the big triangles, and we got out the rulers, we did all that stuff. It makes perfect sense to me. I ask you constantly how I can make it make sense to you, and nobody tells me. So I don't know what to do. Anything else from 71? No? All right, excellent. If I were you, and I am saying this in a pleasant tone of voice, but really what I mean is do what I'm about to do. On page 72, I have entitled a blank page called Test Review. I'm going to write out the 4 things that I think are the biggest issues that you need to know. 1, know and be able to use, please highlight that, Pythagoras. Know it. Pythagoras has two options. In one option, what mathematical operation is central to the question? Adding. So, I might have leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. When will I use that? What am I trying to find when I'm doing addition? Excellent. That finds an hypotenuse. What must I remember to do at the end? Square root my answer. That is when I am adding. What is my other option? Subtraction. What is that?
Leg squared minus leg squared.
No.
No, I mean hypotenuse.
No. Hypotenuse
minus
squared minus leg squared will get me a leg squared. What does that find me? Finds a leg. What must I remember to do at the end? Square root. Where are you going to make mistakes? Some of you on your test are going to tell me that this is an appropriate Some of you are going to tell me that that is a possible triangle.
No.
Yeah, some of you are. A lot of you are. Because if I didn't give you this, at least 1/3 of you are going to go 7 squared plus 4 squared equals 53. Then you're going to square root 53 and you're going to get 7.2 and you're going to write that there and you're going to move on. Of course it is. I'm well aware of that, as are technically all of you. But I guarantee you, at least in my two classes that will be writing their next test, at least out of those 60 kids, 10 to 20 of them will do this, even though I am doing this right now. At least. Next, 2. Know what a trig ratio is. What is a ratio? Compares two things, right? What then is a trig ratio? Compares two parts of a triangle. What are they? Sine is one of them. Cosine is the second one. Tangent is the third one. On your calculator, they are sin, cos, tan. What are the two things being compared? No. Which sides? The legs are which one? Sine or cos or tan? I cannot eat bannock. Thank you, though. Tangent is legs only. Which order?
Opposite over adjacent.
Opposite over adjacent. What one uses the hypotenuse? Cosine and sine. What one uses opposite? Sine. What one uses adjacent? Cosine. Do these three fractions ever give me an actual measurement in the triangle?
A shift will give you the angle, and then those will give you whatever the size.
These values will give you the measurements of the triangle, won't they? If you know them. If this is over 12, then you know one measurement of the triangle. Right? All right. Remember, all of these are also decimals. They're the same thing. Is everybody good? Spectacular. No, there's more. I can't remember the order I did this in, though, so I want to check with the other one that I did already today. Oh, yeah, that's what's next. Trig ratios find what unknown? No, the ratio gives me what? Sine, cos, or tan gives me what? Unknown what? Sides. Trig ratios shifted finds what? Find what? Angles. Trig ratio or shift trig ratio? Trig. Which one? You can't do one, can you?
Because you
You don't know what I'm asking for.
Exactly.
Excellent. Now which one? Sine. Now which one? Tan. You can't do cos unless you've already done sine. Which one? You don't know. Why? Because I haven't told you which angle you're looking at. Because the angle decides if you're going to do opposite or adjacent, yes? But which one must you use? Which one must you not use there? Tan. Why? Because you have a hypotenuse. If your theta is x, shift sine or shift cos? If your theta is y, shift sine or shift cos? Shift cos. Good. And finally, number 4. Always check your calculator. Why?
See if it's in
DEG mode. Check your answer for what? What should you be looking for? Reasonableness. Does it make sense? I'm going to draw a triangle here. Tell me if it makes sense. Why not?
Because the adjacent is longer than
A leg is longer than the hypotenuse. It cannot be. So, now, if I did that, what do you know about the value for x? It must be what? Smaller than 18. Before you touch your calculator, know that your answer must be less than 18. Then, when you go to your calculator, if you get more than 18, do not write it down. Clear? Good. What about this one? Oops. If that is 45, what's that?
90 minus 45, which is whatever that is.
45.
Okay.
If those two angles are the same, what does that make this side and this side? The same. So if this is 10, what's this? 10. Right? Okay. What if I draw this line and I keep the 10? Will this be larger or smaller than 10? Smaller. What if I drew it up here? Bigger. If it's a very big angle, is this going to be very large compared to this?
Yes.
If it is a very small angle, will this be very small compared to this? If it is a very small angle, then will this hypotenuse be very similar to 10? Yes. If it is a very large angle, it will be not similar to 10, it will be similar to this side, yes? Before you touch your calculator, have an idea of what your answer is going to be. Do I make myself clear? Good. Now, listen please. I'm going to describe to you the next couple of days. It is being recorded, so if this goes in one ear, rattles around your brain, and jumps out the other side, it has been recorded for posterity on YouTube. Tomorrow, you are going to come in here and you are going to write a quiz on trigonometry. Every part of it. After that quiz, you are going to begin working on page 73. You will finish tomorrow's class after we have written the quiz and marked it and discussed it. You will work on page 73 for the rest of tomorrow's class. When you walk in the room on Wednesday, I will come around and I will check. The review goes from 73 to 76. It is something like 12 questions. I can't remember. It's 11 questions. If you have done all of them, you will get a grade on my homework check. Instead of check plus, check minus, you will get a grade of 9 to 10. If you have done 3/4 of them, you will get 7 to 8. If you have done 2/3 of them, you will get 5 to 7. 6 to 7. If you have done listen to what I am saying. I am going to try and say it in such a way as to be clearer than I am. If you have done them, did I say anywhere the quality? No. How will I know if it is done? If I see a piece of paper that looks like this. Is that done?
No.
What would be done? Theta equals A equals H equals cos theta. Yes. Then I will know it is done. If you have around half, you will get 5 to 6. If you have lower than that, you will get commensurately lower. Then we will mark it on Wednesday. You will get a score. When I do my homework check, let's say kid Jehoshaphat has no work done. He's done 2 questions. I'm going to give him 2. 2 out of 10 is 20%, yes? We mark it all, and Jehoshaphat says to me, Mr. Myers, I got 80%. Is that what I put on check my mark? No. What do I put on check my mark? 20%. That. Got it? That is what is going to happen Wednesday. After we have gone over this review, marked it, discussed it, we will begin Unit 3. Your test on trigonometry is on Thursday. Now, listen to me again. If I am not mistaken, both Wednesday and Thursday are early dismissal days from this building, which means the classes are only 65 minutes long. That will not affect us Wednesday, because Wednesday we are just marking. But it will affect you on Thursday. If you are not comfortable with trig, how long should a trig question take? Long enough to read it, long enough to draw a triangle, long enough to write theta, A, H, or O, long enough to write down the equation, and long enough to punch it into your calculator. Right? That is what is going to happen Thursday. Then you are going to have a 4-day weekend. 3-day weekend. Sorry, I lied. You only have Friday off.
Wait, Friday's off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is it early dismissal Wednesday and Thursday?
So we can call your parents if you are pissing us off. No. Call your parents to warn them if you're not doing well. Because we don't do a report card in this semester anymore, right? There's a report card only at the end of the semester. No, it makes sense. It's the 21st century. All your parents have access to check my mark. What would be the point of wasting time and resource to send home a piece of paper when they can see it anywhere? I choose not to do those. If your parents care, they can check. That's a really tough question. Oh, Tabi, that reminds me. Ladies and gentlemen, let's pretend you get stuck on question 4. Do you stop? No, because then you only get credit for 4 out of 11 questions done. You skip it and move on. That's it? Now, well, Tabi, yeah, I'm aware. The airplane is where? Up in the sky, yes? If the airplane is on the ground, how would you draw that triangle? Pretend the airplane is sitting on the ground. How would you draw the triangle? May I borrow your pencil? There is my airport. How would you draw the triangle for where the plane is if it were on the ground? How would you walk to that plane using these instructions?
Isn't it in the air?
That isn't what I asked you, Tabi. Where would it be if it was on the ground? You asked me how to draw the question. I am telling you. Where would it be if it was on the ground?
Well, the bottom line would be there.
No. No. The plane is 37 kilometers north. How do you draw north?
Would you line up?
Excellent.
Probably.
37. Then where?
And then
East. 81. Yes? I walk 37 kilometers north, then I walk east.
So what's
Yes?
6 kilometers?
I'm getting to that, Tabi. This is where the plane would be if it was on the ground, yes? Right?
Then why is the airport there?
Okay, because from the airport, you go 37 kilometers north and 81 kilometers east, right? That's where the plane is, if it were on the ground. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So how would you tell me how far the plane is from the airport right now? It's not in the air, it's on the ground. So how would you tell me?
A line this way, right?
Excellent. And how would you solve that?
By first finding the angle.
You don't need an angle. You have two sides of a right angle triangle,
Then
don't
you
you?
just do.
Pythagoras.
You have to find, yeah, you have to
Excellent. Excellent. So if the plane were on the ground, you could find how far away it is, yes? But the plane is not on the ground. Where is the plane?
Is that supposed to be the 90-degree?
That's the 90. Of course it is. It's between north and east.
The plane is there.
The plane, no, that's when the plane's on the ground. Keep reading the question. Where's the plane?
6 kilometers up.
So this up, right?
Yeah.
What's the angle between the ground and straight up?
90.
90. Does that make a 90 degree? Do you know this distance?
Not yet,
But you could find it. Do you know this distance?
yes.
What is it?
6.
6. So then can you find that distance?